One. Hello, John Paval here. It's Monday, 6 in the evening in Europe, noon on the East Coast, 9 on the West Coast in the US on October 14th. That means it must be time for the Access Arts Live weekly roundup of the big guns, orchestral works and opera and ballet and theater, if we can find any. And we're going to have some theater next week, finally. But this week, it's opera and orchestral works from down in Australia up to the west coast of the U.S., to the Detroit Symphony, over to the Berlin Philharmonic, and down to the Pavarotti Opera House in Modena, Italy. So we have a nice schedule of things to let you know about. Let me get right to it. Let me eliminate the things here that I don't need to have up so that I only have the things here that I do need to have up. And now we're ready to go. We start Wednesday, October 16th at 11 a.m. down under in Australia. The Australian National Academy of Music will be live streaming a mostly Mozart concert. They say it's mostly Mozart, but it's mostly other things. But there is some Mozart in it. It's being live streamed on the Australian Digital Concert Hall. So it will cost you 25 Australian dollars or 1650 US dollars or 15 euros. But it's Anum, as it's called, along with the principal horn of the Royal Concertgebouw Orchestra, Katie Woolley. And they're playing music from different eras of different styles to show off, I guess. Katie Woolley will be playing the French horn on Mozart's Sinfonia Concertante for wind quartet in E flat, Kershal number 297B, for those of you who keep track of Kershal numbers. But before that, they will be doing Joan Towers' Fanfare for the Uncommon Woman, Part 3, Morton Lauridsen's O Magnum Mysterium, and Samuel Barber's Mutation from Bach. So they're all over the waterfront with what they're going to be doing. Now, for me, the interesting piece is the Joan Tower piece, because she's popular these days. The Detroit Symphony Orchestra did Joan Tower's Fanfare for the Uncommon Woman, number 6, they called it, not part, a couple of weeks ago on September 27th, and they live streamed it. We told you about it. So if you've been following us and watching these things, that was a free live stream. You know who Joan Tower was and how she composed. She is a Grammy-winning American composer, concert pianist, and conductor. The New Yorker magazine says she is one of the most successful women composers of all time. So why don't you know about her yet? Well, because they don't talk about and play women composers as much as men, even with all the effort that's being put on to get that done. I'm going to put a link into the comment section where we give you all the dates, times, and links. A link to an interview with her in Harvard Crimson magazine, which was done back in 2018 when she was a very young 80 years old. She's 86 years old now. She's been teaching at Bard College since 1972. So she's an institution. Anyway, the timing of this one, though, is great because since it's at 11 o'clock in the morning in Australia, that's 3 o'clock in the morning in Europe, so it's no good for you. But for you American watchers, it's 9 o'clock Saturday night, or 6 o'clock Saturday evening on the West Coast, 9 o'clock on the East Coast. So this is your chance to see the Australian National Academy of Music playing, and they're quite good. Okay, so then we move on to all the way to Saturday before we have more of the big guns. The Berlin Philharmonic will be doing a concert called French Impressionism and Italian Splendor. That's Saturday at 7 o'clock in the evening European time. That's 1 o'clock your Saturday afternoon on the East Coast and 10 o'clock your Saturday morning on the West Coast. It's on the Berlin Phil Digital Concert Hall, and so it will cost you €9.90 or 11 US dollars. It's a great concert, though. It's a Sacario Ramo, who's the chief conductor of the BBC orchestra, and he he also, for many years, was the head of the Finnish Radio Symphony Orchestra, and he was a musical and artistic advisor and chief conductor for the Stockholm Royal Phil for a number of years. They're going to be doing two lovely pieces. One is Claude Debussy's Nocturnes with the ladies of the Rundfunkchor Berlin. Now, if you know the piece, towards the end, there are these beautiful siren songs being sung, and that's what the women from the Rundfunkchor Berlin will be singing. Then they will do Ferruccio Busoni. Let me show you here who your collaborators are. That's Zaccaria Oramo and Kirill Gerstein playing Busoni's the next piece that they're doing, his piano concerto in C. And this is what Busoni called, it's a concerto for piano and orchestra and male choir in C major. So usually you don't have choirs in piano concertos. Busoni called it his skyscraper concerto. And he was at the keyboards when the premiere of this piece was done by the Berlin Philharmonic in 1904. So this is very often the Berlin Philharmonic is doing things like that, playing things that they did the premiere of like 100 years ago. Anyway, so that will be the second part of the concert with Kirill Gerstein on it. And Gerstein is the artist in residence with the Bavarian Radio Symphony Orchestra, and he's a spotlight artist with the London Symphony and a resident artist at the Festival of Aix-en-Provence. So he's a heck of a guy. He also recently performed Berlin cabaret songs of the 1920s with artist and composer H.K. Gruber at Tanglewood some years ago. Anyway, then after that, stick around, because later on, back in U.S. time, the Detroit Symphony, my beloved DSO, will be putting on a concert called Sea Scenes, Sibelius and Britten. That's at 8 o'clock Saturday evening, Eastern Daylight Time, 5 o'clock on the West Coast. Kind of late, 2 o'clock in the morning in Europe, but I stay up that late on Saturday nights all the time. And a lovely 10 o'clock in the morning down under in Australia. And let me give you the picture of the two main artists in this one. This is Tabita Berglund. You don't have these pictures on Instagram because Instagram doesn't integrate with my multi-platform stream service, which is Restream. It's complicated. Anyway, Tabita Berglund is the new guest conductor at the Detroit Symphony with a 4-year contract, because Jader Bignamini knows how to pick them. And Pekka Kuusisto is the violinist for Saturday's program. Now, they'll be doing Benjamin Britten's 4 C interludes from Peter Grimes. They'll be doing Anna Klein's Time and Tides, which will be a U.S. premiere. And they'll be doing Jean Sibelius's Lemminkäinen Suite. Just to tell you a little more about both of these artists, I'll take them off screen so you can maybe see me. Tabita Berglund is also going to be the principal guest conductor at the Dresden Philharmonic starting next year. So she's a hot commodity, and she'll be playing with everybody this year and from now on, from Houston to Poland to Tokyo and in December she'll be playing 12 performances of Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker back in her homeland, Norway, with the Norwegian Ballet. Pekka Kuusisto is artistic director of the Norwegian Chamber Orchestra and principal guest conductor and artistic co-director of the Helsinki Philharmonic Orchestra. So the two of them are terrific. Now, I want to talk to you about this other composer, though, while we're talking about women composers today, because we are, and because there's this very interesting piece, which I haven't heard before, by Anna Klein. And the piece is called Time and Tides. It's the U.S. premiere, because this is a concert all about the sea and music about the sea. Anna Klein, if you have not heard of her, even if you have heard of her, she was named by Bachtrack as one of the top 10 most performed contemporary composers in the world. She's been commissioned by or presented by everybody: the Barbican, Carnegie Hall, Kennedy Center, the LA Phil, MoMA, the Philharmonie de Paris, the Royal Concertgebouw Orchestra, the San Francisco Ballet, Sydney Opera House. They've opened the Edinburgh International Festival with her. They've closed the last night of the proms with her, and she's collaborated with people like Yo-Yo Ma and, yeah, guess who? Pekka Kuusisto. So no coincidence that those two that they're playing music by her. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Tabita and Pekka were talking about what to put on the program, and he said, "Oh, why don't we do Anna Klein's thing?" That wouldn't surprise me at all, because things happen that way. Okay, and then we finally wind up the big guns of this weekend down in Modena, Italy, where the Modena Opera House, which changed its name to the Pavarotti Opera House after Pavarotti's death, will be putting on Rossini's Moses in Egypt. If you haven't ever seen that, it's worth it. By the way, the Detroit Symphony Orchestra live stream is free of charge. You have no excuse for not watching it or checking it out, as is this production of Moses in Egypt at the Pavarotti Opera House, which is being live streamed by Opera Live Streaming, free of charge. It's now Moses in Egypt is about Moses, and the main man in this, the guy that really makes it worthwhile, is you either like the Moses or you don't. And they did a great choice because they brought in Michel Pertuzzi to play the role of Moses. Let me give you a picture of him. Michel's been around for ages and ages. He made his international fame playing Falstaff, Verdi's Falstaff, and back in the 1990s, and he's been going strong ever since. And so he's playing Moses in this, but the program notes tell us that he's also an acclaimed Rossini interpreter, that he's a regular guest at the Rossini Opera Festival in Pesaro, where he has many times received the prestigious Rossini d'Oro. It's also interesting that the role of Elsia is being played by Ida Pascu, a Romanian soprano who was named Young Artist of the Year 2024 at the International Classical Music Awards. This is what we have for you with live streams of orchestras and operas this week. One other thing, on Sunday evening, if all of this wasn't enough for you, there will be one more free live stream you can check out. It's the Sunnyside Symphony Orchestra in Portland, Oregon, doing a concert called From Darkness to Light, Beethoven's Coriolan Overture, Opus 62, Tchaikovsky's Francesca da Rimini Symphonic Fantasy after Dante, Opus 32, and Mendelssohn's Symphony No. 5, Opus 107. I don't know much more about the Sunnyside Symphony Orchestra other than that their program is free of charge and that they are a part of the Sunnyside Adventist organization, as in Seventh-day Adventist. So you know their hearts are pure and their souls are uplifted as they're playing, and they're there to provide you with spiritual inspiration going from darkness to light. Thank you for tuning into this. I want to encourage you again, subscribe to us, especially on YouTube if you can. We'd love to have enough YouTube subscribers so we can start to monetize, because we do all the work. And trust me, it's a lot of work finding all these live streams for you. This is only a part of it. I will be back at 6:30 European time to do a live stream on all the smaller concerts, meaning not less quality, but smaller numbers, recitals, chamber music, and contemporary compositions, classical or not. And this will include Hindustani slide guitar music and Armenian folk songs and just everything, and your traditional string quartets and all of that. So please do subscribe to us, and that way we do all the work. All you have to do is point and click on your little mouse thing or on your pad and go enjoy these terrific concerts. Ciao for now, but I will be back in just a little while, about 15 minutes from now, if you're curious and want to see me live.